Namaste, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, friends, freaks, fanatics of NFL of all ages. Welcome back to your favorite show with your favorite bro. Back one more time, back with the new year. Yes, at the end of the year, we did not finish off with a football frenzy or Jump Ball Season 2, Episode 2. But we will get to that. Before that, NFL Playoffs is back, and so is your guy. So without wasting your time, without wasting mine, let's get into it for your viewing displeasure, as the numbers showcase based off subscribers, based off of views. But we'll keep it pushing. Stay positive to start out the new year. Like I mentioned, the word of the year is growth. So hopefully by the end of the year, we have a lot more people that we can kind of, converse with, or just anybody that we can kind of, converse with. We'll see what happens, but let's get back into the playoffs. Los Angeles Rams taking on the Carolina Panthers to start us off. This 4 versus 5 matchup is very interesting. Why do I say that? One team has all the momentum in the Carolina Panthers, going down to Tampa Bay. They lost, but I feel like that was a perfect game for them. For a franchise that hasn't really won much, I can't really be. It's not a shot. It's just a fact of reality. I can't really throw shots because I'm a Raiders fan, so let's circle back. But yeah, since about 10 years ago, back in Levi Stadium, when, Cam Newton was dabbing all over the league, Carolina Panthers were running the league. But since then, it has been kind of volatile. David Tepper's, ownership is kind of, in the beginning, was questioned. He always had a good heart, as it seems now. And, now he has football people running the football program. And, Dan Morgan created a physical team that can go anywhere and compete, or they can, at home at least, try to defend their home turf. I want to mention their offensive line that has significantly improved since Bryce Young has been there. Both of their tackles are home, drafted and developed. They added Damian Lewis. They added Robert Hunt from NFC West, AFC South. And then Cade Mays, he is, I do believe, a homegrown talent as well. Austin Corbett came from the Los Angeles Rams, so he has some history there. He understands at least the way that the offensive line for the Los Angeles Rams functions in that zone scheme. That's another thing, zone scheme of... this year they've been a lot more physical, I formation, 3 tight end sets for the Los Angeles Rams. But in this one, with Devontae Adams, returning, they're going to likely play 2 wide receivers once again. It's going to be tough. The cornerbacks for the Carolina Panthers are going to have a handful. Last time out, they did come away with 2 picks. J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, they have been one of the better duos of this year, probably the most underrated duo. Even though their names have been called, I don't think they still get the same amount of respect as some of the other duos. Even if you want to go look at the Eagles with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, they get a lot more love than the cornerback duos out there, but that's a different conversation for another day. The wide receiver matchup, like I mentioned, Puka and Devontae Adams, with those guys, that's going to be phenomenal. Trayvon Merrick is going to be the jigsaw puzzle that the Rams are going to have to figure out where Evero, shout out to Coach Evero, he's going to line Merrick. Is it going to be in the slot? Is he going to bring him in? Is he going to be as a linebacker? We're going to have to watch that. Outside of that, it's going to be Bryce Young versus Matthew Stafford. This game is outdoors, not indoors like out in LA or even Arizona. Those matches, those games, it could be, a lot more favorable for Matthew Stafford. This one outdoors, Bryce Young's more probably conditioned to those weathers. Last time out, he only had to throw 20 times. The game plan, in a sense, was running the ball. They ran 40 times on that Rams defense. Is that going to be the same game plan? Highly doubtful, because, I don't anticipate the Rams to get ran through like that once again. Chris Shula is going to come up with a game plan to combat that. And that's where it's going to kind of come down to, however. The Carolina Panthers, they're going to have to establish that run game to kind of, open up everything for Bryce Young. Respectfully, I don't think he is still the quarterback to beat you with his arm, similar to that of Baker, where if you give him a run game, you can kind of have bootlegs and something else that you can kind of get him out on, kind of run, get him off platform, get him those throws. Teteroy McMillan, he, doesn't really have a respectfully, a cornerback one that he really has to watch out for. Kobe Durant, solid guy. Witherspoon, solid. Forbes, we'll see what happens. Is he going to get flagged? But yeah, if if Forbes can have a clean game, if the defensive backs can have a clean game, if Leggett can kind of start adding to the momentum, and then we'll see. 2 running backs on each side. It was a very close matchup. Matthew Stafford had 2 interceptions and a fumble, I do believe, from the running backs, if I'm not mistaken. And then on the other side, it was a clean game for the Panthers. However, the game was still only 28-31. So that turnover margin is going to be very crucial. And yeah, I am still going to rock out with the Panthers in this one. I don't know. I feel like they have a momentum that they are kind of carrying, even though they lost to Tampa Bay. That weather was something that they could learn from. Fitzgerald, as a rookie kicker, got adversed into that condition. You saw what happened with Loop. On the other side, Mevis, he's been a solid kicker for the Rams. Most of his kicks have been indoors, like I mentioned, so him having to adjust to the weather outside, kind of like how it was between him and Myers up in Seattle. We're going to have to see if that kind of comes back to them. And then not having right guard in Kevin Dotson, Rob Havenstein at right tackle, though he's not a starter, still like one of their veteran, in a sense, like player coach, kind of like a Witt towards the end. And then Jordan Whittington hit their kick returner, punt returner, special teams ace. In a sense, he's going to be out in this one. How is the special team going to look like? That's going to be a factor. We'll see. It's a Sean McVay and Chris Chula versus, Dave Canales and Ichiro Evero matchup. I'll lean to the enthusiasm and momentum right now over the experience. We will see what happens. On to the next one. It is the Green Bay Packers traveling out to the Soldier Field to take on those Chicago Bears. And in this matchup of the NFC North, to kick us off in the playoffs in the end, well, to take us further in the NFC playoffs, it is going to be the Bears that's going to be moving on. Why did I mention that? Soldier Field, I already mentioned it has been far too long for those fans to have, witnessed a playoff game in that iconic venue. The energy is going to be palpable. After that, it's in Chicago. The wind, the weather, all of that's definitely going to play a factor. The offensive line for the Chicago Bears, top 5. Couple of those offensive linemen, top 3, top 5 in their position. So gotta lean with the trenches in this one. Quarterbacks as well. Jordan Love, how rusty is he? Hasn't played for almost a month. How is that injury still lingering with him? That's gonna play a factor. And then outside of that, if you want to look at the weapons, DJ Moore, I do believe Odunze is coming back from his injury. Luther Burden's still there. Colston Loveland has already showcased what he can be and continue to become. Cole Kmet has kind of taken that 1B tight end role like as a pro. Shout out to him. And then the running back, it's a 2-back system with Swift and Mungai. Swift has not minded that because that's been the most successful formula if you want to look across the league, and they have been a successful group this year. Josh Jacobs and Wilson on the other side. Josh Jacobs has been banged up probably since I do believe week 12. From what I heard from Ty, is around the time that he is the first time without being listed on an injury report. Talking about injuries, the Green Bay injuries from Micah Parsons, the DB room. I'm not sure if Devontae Wyatt's playing, but that's another one. And yeah, there's just injuries for them at key positions. If you want to look at Matt LaFleur, he's in his last year of his contract. If he does not get past this one with the likes of John Harbaugh out there, maybe they go back to Mike McCarthy. Highly doubtful, but you're not really firing them in a sense. You're just moving on to a different direction, because in the 5-6 years, whatever he's been in charge, 7 years, 8 years that LaFleur has been in charge, they haven't really even gotten to, the Super Bowl. And they have had Aaron Rodgers, they have had Jordan Love, they have invested in Micah Parsons. So you are going to need something to sell to the fans for that investment. So it's going to be interesting to see what Mark Murphy and the Packers organization, because they don't have an owner, decide to do going forward. Also, Ben Johnson being in, the division before with the Lions, that plays a factor in this being a divisional matchup. And another thing that you want to go back to LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, the last matchup, the last loss of Aaron Rodgers' Green Bay Packers tenure came at the iconic Lambeau Field in the hands of the Detroit Lions, whose offensive coordinator at that time was Ben Johnson. And there's always seemed to have been kind of like an underlying unspoken of beef between him and LaFleur, so we're gonna have to see how that comes up. Jeff Hafley, his name's already out there for head coaching candidacies. I'm not sure if he's gonna get it just yet. I think he is capable of doing it, possibly. I'm not sure if he is going to be successful in his first tenure. I don't know if he's been in the league long enough for that, but that could just be my reservation. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Dennis Allen, the defense he comes up with. That defense has been very active. They have been getting the ball. By now, they're actually getting healthier, having the all-pro Jalen Johnson back. I don't believe he's still 100%, but having him back in the secondary, getting Kevin Byard, that nobody's really talking about in the offseason, in the back end, has been phenomenal. He's playing with CJ. He's making plays when he needs to be. He is a winner, whatever you want to say about him and whatever he does off the field. And yeah, like that is a factor that plays a factor. If you want to go back to talking about momentum, they kind of ran through that San Francisco defense as well. At the very end, they did not have one last play in them, but if they had made that play, they come out of that game as victors, and maybe they are the number 1 seed currently. So that probably eats up at them. They could kind of get away from that with this win being a divisional win as well. Then you move on. Likely, maybe you face somebody else back again at home. If not, then you travel out. So we're going to see what the future holds for the rest of the matchup. But for these two matchups, like I mentioned, the first one we are going with an upset, where the Carolina Panthers beat Los Angeles Rams outdoors. It is what it is. And then in the second one as well, outdoors at the iconic Soldier Field, it is going to be the Bears beating the Green Bay Packers and getting their house back from the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. And till next time, you already know what it is. Stay tuned. It's a new year. Show some love. Go show your friends, freaks, all the fanatics out there for sports that, hey, there is a guy, rain or shine, at any time. He is always out there grinding it out. If you want to support, go ahead and support. If not, I'm still out here. I'll still be giving my wisdom, giving my 2 cents, giving my whatever you want to call it, energy out here for this. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy, healthy year. Like I mentioned, the word of this year is growth. Doesn't matter if it's just this, in any aspect of life. I hope growth comes at you. Whatever you are working for, you get to your goals. And yeah, catch y'all next time. Go like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Quick Takes will be back, playoff edition number 2, with the Sunday slate back at it. Till next time. Peace.